What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Yala Poppy from simphunter.com, and in this video I'm going to be telling you how I do a Zoom call with a new creator. So, the first thing that I will tell you is that a Zoom call should be a formality. 9 times out of 10, the model should already be like closed. Like she should already want to just sign with you anyway. And the Zoom call is just to check a box, honestly. The reason I do Zoom calls is because I'm looking for red flags. That's really what I'm looking for. Number one, I'm looking for red flags. Number two, if I'm going to do business with somebody, whether it's a model or partner or not a VA, I don't really care about them, although I should probably do it with my VAs, to be honest with you. I want to see that person face to face. I want to have a face-to-face conversation with them so I can get a feel of what type of person they are. It is very valuable if you are even a half-decent judge of character. You'll see whether or not this is the type of person that you want to be involved with in any way. Okay, so let's jump right in. Now, but actually, before we get started, when I said that the Zoom call should be a formality, what I mean by that is that the model should already basically or have a good understanding of what is expected of her and what you will do for her. So the way that I used to attack this is before the Zoom call, I would send the model lots of videos to watch that I had on my old channel, which was sadly taken down, RIP. The two playlists that I would send, one of them was a mindset playlist where I would say, this is basically the correct mindset for a successful model to have. That's number one. The second playlist was more of a strategy playlist of like, here's what we need you to do. This is how it's going to work. Here's the workload. Here's why we need you to do it, blah, blah, blah. So by the time she came on the call, she had already watched all those videos and she already had a pretty good understanding of what we expected from her. And the implication also was that by her coming on the call, she had accepted that that was what she had to do anyway. So I highly recommend you do it like that. Otherwise, you're just going to be, it's going to be more work for you. And it's just a good way of screening them a little bit further. So how do you do the call? The first thing you want to do on the call, you get on the call, meet them. Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Be polite. Nice to meet you, right? What I like to do is I like to make small talk for 30 seconds. Honestly, I don't even really like to make small talk. Just like, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. And then if she says something, if she's like, oh, I'm good, how are you? If that's all she says, jump right into the call. If she's like, oh my God, well, like this thing happened and that thing happened and blah, blah, blah. She's like a talker. Then talk a little bit with her. Be like, oh my God, no, what, really? Are you serious? Blah, 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 whatever. 30 seconds tops. Okay. Once you get into the call, what you're going to say is this. Here's how we normally do these calls. First, so what we're doing here is we are setting the frame for the call. Number one, you're setting the frame that you're in charge. And number two, you are explaining to her how the call is going to go. So you're immediately already taking a position of authority. What you're going to say is, here's how we do these calls. Number one, I'm going to ask you some questions. If everything checks out, I'm going to explain to you a little bit about how the opportunity works. And I use the word opportunity on purpose. And then I say this. And then after that, if you have questions, you can ask me. Sound good? She says yes. They always say yes if they speak English. Now, the reason I use opportunity should be obvious, but I want to frame this in a way that it is an opportunity for her. These little tweaks, these little changes to language, all of these little things will force them to, by saying that and getting her to agree yes, you're kind of forcing her to accept it as true, which will help you later on in your relationship with them. Because you're setting the tone for the relationship with the model on the Zoom call. This is your first interaction. It's your first opportunity to communicate with them. And if they're cunty and bitchy on the first call, they're going to be even worse a month, 2 months, 3 months down the line. So the first thing that I ask them, I say, okay, if you could just tell me a little bit about your background, catch me up to speed. How long have you been doing OnlyFans? How's that been going for you? Have you made any money? I rattle all these things off right off the bat. Have you made any money? Have you worked with an agency before? How's that been going? Just catch me up to speed. And then she'll say, okay, I started OnlyFans like 1.5 years ago, and I made a little bit of money here and a little bit of money there. And then I worked with an agency and we did well. We made like $7,000 in a month, but then they did some fucked up thing and they did this and they did that. So I decided to break with them. Since then, I haven't been making any money. So now I'm looking for another agency, blah, 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 blah. So what this will do, number one, I watch her to see how she talks. And I'll give you another tip here. Anytime I'm in a conversation with somebody and it's a business conversation and I ask that person a question, I'm going to let that person talk until they stop talking. I'm just going to let them go. Just talk. Because the more information they give me, the more tools I have at my disposal to move the conversation in the direction that I want it to go. I believe that in a conversation, in a business conversation or negotiation, the one who talks less has more control, has more power. That's my personal negotiation tactic. You may agree, you may disagree. I don't know, but that's what I believe. So it's not even really necessary on a Zoom call, to be honest with you, because these girls, when they show up, they're already closed. They already want to sign. I could just be like, okay, here's the contract, sign, and they'd be like, okay. But all of these things will help solidify the relationship so that you get more out of them, especially in the first month where they're the most motivated. So they're telling me their background. I'm letting them talk. Sometimes they don't talk a lot. Sometimes they talk for 15, 20 seconds, say, yeah, I tried it hasn't been going well, and then it went well for a little bit, and then blah, blah, blah. So what I do, number one, like I said, I'm watching to see what type of person they are. Are they nice? Are they friendly? Do they have a positive attitude? Are they a complainer? Are they talking shit about somebody? Are they optimistic? Are they friendly? Are they cheerful? I take all that into consideration. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my red flag questions. Say, okay, great. And if there's any other questions that come up that are like unique to that person, where they're like, yeah, we were getting a lot of traffic. I'll be like, oh, well, what did you do to get the traffic? Stuff like that, just because I'm curious. I want to know. And it also shows that you are interested. So ask them some questions. You don't have, it's not hard to think of the questions to ask. If they give you, if they dangle the bait in front of you, take the bait, ask the question. So, once they do that, once we get the basics out of the way, I ask them the red flag questions. And the red flag questions are this. Number one, do you have anything that would prevent you from doing this full time? It's the first question I ask, because I only want to work with girls who are willing to do this full time. Excuse me. I don't want to work with part-timers. I don't want to work with girls that have fucking 3 jobs. I don't want to work with girls that have 2 hours a day, 3 times a week to do this. No, sorry. No, it's not for me. I'm looking for full-time people. I'm full-time. I want you to be full-time. If you're not full-time, well, you're just not committed. And like, it's hard enough working with the girls who are committed. So if they say, and then it depends on what they say. I understand, some people, they need a job to pay their bills. I get it. That's fine. If they do have a job, that's fine. They're not automatically disqualified if they have a job, but it's something that I'll take into consideration. If they tell me they work 10 hours a day and they have a 1-hour commute either way, it's like, well, I mean, where are you going to fit this in? Unless you work at a strip club. So that's number one. Number two, the second question I ask is, do you have anybody that you don't want to find out about this? Anybody in your life, like your mom, your dad. Usually it's the mom or dad. Usually it's the parents that they don't want to find out. The reason I ask this, and the reason this is a red flag question, is because, again, if they say yes, then that is a problem. Because at the end of the day, it's possible, I don't care, you block their country, you block their state, whatever, you block someplace, it's still possible that somebody else will find them, or somebody will see their social media and they'll see the link, and like they'll put two and two together and they'll figure it out and be like, they'll tell the mom or they'll tell somebody, and it'll be a problem. The reason this is a red flag is because if that's a major problem for them, then if it happens down the line, once we've invested, once we've been working with them for a long time, and they decide they want to quit because of that, well, we just wasted all our time building them up. So it's not good. Usually what happens is the girl will say, yeah, I would prefer if like my mom didn't find out, but you know, if I'm making a lot of money, I guess I don't care. They'll say something like that. So the final red flag question is, do you want any regions blocked? Now, this isn't necessarily a red flag question, because let's say they live in, I don't know, Florida, and they want to block Florida. That's fine. We can block Florida. But like that kind of ties into the last question. It's like, okay, you want to block Florida, but what if these people from Florida find out? I'm going to ask them that. I'm like, if they find out, does that mean you're going to quit? Because I want to know, and they know why you're asking. They understand, they get it. Because like, obviously you don't want to work with people who are going to say, we're going to quit if somebody finds out that they don't want them to find out. I've had this happen to me before. It's not fun. It sucks. So those are the red flag questions. Now, assuming they answer the red flag questions and I get a good feeling about them and no alarm bells are going off in my head, I will say, okay, sounds good. Now let me explain to you a little bit about how this works. And then what I'll do is I will tell them about I will really tell them what we need from them, what their responsibilities are. Really, it's like an overview of the strategy. So basically what I'll say is something like this. Okay, here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do, what we need from you, this is what I say, what we need from you, what you are going to spend 95% of your time doing is creating promotional content. There's two types of content. There's promotional content and there is explicit content that we sell for money. The promotional content, which is what you're going to spend most of your time doing, is going to be Reels, it's going to be TikToks, it's going to be pictures, videos for Reddit, for social media, and we're going to give you an assigned list of what we need from you. You are going to post that to accounts that we give you. This is currently how we do it. Sometimes things change. I don't tell them that part, but like, this is me talking to you. But historically, what we've done the basic, like, you're going to run 5 accounts, you're going to upload to those 5 accounts, you're going to make these videos, we're going to send you the content to make. And then once we see that you're reliable and you're making the videos, we are going to take those videos and we are going to repurpose them across 5 gazillion accounts. Now, the recent change with Instagram, that has kind of thrown a monkey wrench into our plans. I don't tell them that, but like, the point is that we want them making the unique content, right? And if they get to the stage where they're making the unique content, we have ways of promoting them other than that. We can do paid ads to their account. We can do mother-slave on their account. There's other stuff we can do. But the point is that I tell them, we want to see that you're consistent. We want to see that you're reliable. We want to see that we like working with you, that you follow instructions. If we see that, we will invest money into expanding your efforts. And then we're going to drive subs to your OnlyFans page. We're going to have a team of people that are chatting on your account, talking to these fans, selling them content. And all you have to do is just keep making the TikToks. Make sense? Yes, great. So once they understand that, then what I will do is I will say to them, okay, great. Now, if you have any questions, you can ask me. I would say probably 50% of the time, they don't have questions because I have already provided all of that information in the 2 video playlists that I mentioned in the beginning of this video. I've already told them what we expect from them. I've already told them what our overall strategy is. And I've told them at length in more than just a couple sentences casually like I did just now. So 50% of the time they don't have any questions. Now, when they do have questions, they usually have one of 2 questions. The first question that they have is usually around payments. It's usually around payouts, right? It's usually like, how often are we paid out, or how much are we paid out? That's what they'll ask. And when they ask how much, I know that they haven't gone through all the material because that is in there. You know what I mean? So I'll say, And this is for a new model. We'll say we'll start you out at, we take 65, you take 35. Once you hit $10,000 a month, we change that. We take 60, you take 40. So it's a little bit of an incentive to get you to the next level. That's if they ask me that. And, answer whatever you have, right? Whatever your answer is, whatever you want to start them out at. If it's a creator that already is making money and already has a substantial following, obviously we're not going to take 65% because they're taking a lot of work off of our plate. So we are happy to take a lower percent because they're already bringing, they're doing a lot of our work for us. So that's that. And if they ask how often payouts are, what I'll say is we usually do weekly payouts, which is true. We do weekly payouts. What I had done in the past before I merged with the agency that I'm working with now, what I had done in the past is I would wait. I was very disorganized. I would wait until we had like one substantial payout, because it takes a little time to build up at first. So I'd wait until we had one substantial payout, and then hopefully things are regular after that, and then we would do weekly payouts. Now we just do weekly payouts from the get-go. Like weekly payouts, Monday we're going to send you an invoice. It's all sent automatically. Fucking shout out to my partner for setting that up. And then it is up to them to pay the amount, promptly. So that is that. And then let's say they ask their questions or they don't have any questions. And then I will say, okay, so does that sound good to you? Would you like to get started? They pretty much always say yes. I maybe one or two times I've had a girl say no. But like I said, if you do all the groundwork properly, the Zoom call is just a formality. And then I go into next steps. So then I say, okay, so here's what I need you to do. After we get off the call, I want you to text me your email address. I'm going to email you the contract. I say agreement, I don't say contract. I'm going to email you the agreement. I'm going to email you the onboarding email. It's probably going to take a week for us to get you onboarded. We'll get you the accounts. We'll send you the contents a copy. And, we'll get everything set up. The onboarding email has okay, we need these 10 things from you. And just let's get that done as soon as possible so we can get you going and start making content and start making money. And that's it. That's how you do a Zoom call. It's super easy. Your goal, if you're a new agency owner, you should try and do at least one Zoom call a day, at least. If you're bootstrapping, you don't have any money, get on Instagram, send the DMs, read the articles that I have on my website about how to set up a good Instagram page. Look up hashtag OnlyFans agency on Instagram. Go see what the good pages are out there. Take some ideas, steal some ideas from them, steal their fucking posts, edit that shit on Canva. What are they going to do? Fucking sue you? No, definitely not. Cool. Thank you for watching the video. If you guys have any questions, leave me a comment, like the video, subscribe if you have not subscribed already, and I will see you in the next one.